Right, I'm doing it from my own page because I've tried doing it from Mara on Islam. It's just not having none of it. I'm not quite sure why, but it's just being a bit of a pain in the bum for some reason. So we'll give it a minute on mine. It's clearly going to go. It's working from mine fine. It's just not going to share. It's just not going to work for anybody else. So I'm going to tag our eye on Islam into it. There we go. That's that done. Right. Okay, let's see. Right, see, straight away I've got people viewing. For some reason it wasn't letting anybody view when I tried to go on our live on our on Islam, but I have tagged them into it. Sherlow Carrion, hi, are you Christian? No, I'm an atheist, but my country is a Christian country of which I will defend vehemently. Hi Samuel, Dave Eastman, Sonia, hello sweetheart. Right, I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up and a little bit of a preemptive warning. I am not a happy bunny. Now, yesterday I was in an extremely good mood, full of festive cheer. Up had gone the tree, and I was a very, very happy person. Hi, Therese. That was the problem. There's a bit of a dodgy signal problem going on. Thank you very much, Anna. If you can share to the page, that's much appreciated. So, why aren't I a happy bunny? When I stood for the elections as Police and Crime Commissioner, one of the things, like I said yesterday, that I was asked about is, hi Lisa Betts, would I ban the burqa? And it's a very simple answer, yes I will. I would ban the burqa without drawing breath, nor would I lose an ounce of sleep in doing so. However, today I've shared a video, and please do everybody, I've put the link to the video in this thread. So do everybody take a minute after this to watch the video that I've put in here. This is an interview with a guy from MI5. Hi Neil, hi Jason. Now this guy sat outside a mosque. He hid his identity, and the way he did it was he posed as a homeless person. Now there's two things that concern me here. So here's one of the things that's really pissed me off, okay? The first is he dressed as a homeless person, including covering himself in his own urine to really make it look so that he... But what was worrying was he said it's the only disguise that he could think of that nobody would take any notice of. Now that worries me a little bit. That you could disguise yourself as a homeless person and everybody will ignore you. Because that's what they did. They just totally was oblivious to the fact he was even there. And that proves that our homeless on the streets are invisible. They are totally invisible. I myself, I was on the train. I was waiting at the train station in King's Cross on my way home. And a young lad, 17 years old, had run away from home. He'd suffered immense abuse at the hands of his father, including sexual abuse. And I said to him, well, could you go nowhere for help? And he can't go home. It's not safe for him to go home. Nobody will listen to him. And they said he can't get any help because he has no fixed abode. No, he has no fixed abode because he was being abused. Now, it was clear he wasn't on drugs. He smoked, but he didn't do drugs. But he was hungry, so I fed him. Because that's the right thing to do. I wouldn't give him money, but I did feed him. I took him and I sat down with him in a cafe, and I ate a meal with him. And I made sure that when he left, he went with food in his pocket. But how many people ever stop to ask a person, why are you homeless? And this guy's right. What better disguise than a homeless person? Because nobody takes any notice of you. He's right. They don't. I've been in that position. I know what it's like to sit on the street as a homeless person and have people walk past you like you are bloody invisible. They are human beings and they are abandoned by society, government and everybody else that steps over them. It's winter and it's cold and it's bitter. And I can tell you now from my own experience, you try sleeping in a doorway of a shop, hungry, cold and scared. And then you watch the people come out of their shops loaded with their gifts, and I'm still happy to step over you like you do not exist. That was one of the things that infuriated. That's not his fault. He's right in what he says. He's right in what he says. It was the best disguise. Because it's history. I clicked onto the link and I found the link, to be honest with you, it was really insightful, and fair play to the guy for what he did, because this is where I get even more incensed, more outraged, so I will apologise if I don't answer all your questions. Yes, homeless British veterans do need to be addressed, but so do homeless children. Believe you me, there are more children on the streets. I'm not talking about your homeless Syrian refugees, because them buggers aren't homeless, believe you me. I'm talking about people born in this country with nothing, who become runaways because there's some kind of abuse going on at home. So, like I said, the second thing that infuriated me about this is it's outside a mosque. Somebody had obviously had his eye on for a time. And they were obviously following this lead. And he dressed as a homeless person because, in his own words, he would then be invisible. Nobody would take any notice of him. And he sat and he watched. And he counted the amount of women wearing burqas that entered the mosque. Then he counted how many came out. Had he not done that, they would not have caught this man. Okay? This man came out and he happened to walk past him, oblivious to the fact that he was a homeless person, because, of course, you don't notice them, do you? And he spotted his trainers. And that's how he knew it was their guy, who got into his uncle's vehicle. When they actually got to do all the investigations that they need to do, he had a car boot full of weapons and explosives, and his target was 2 coachfuls of children and parents. He intended to blow up 2 coaches and open fire on 2 coaches of children. And how did he intend to do that? He went into the mosque and he changed his clothing and placed on a burqa, allowing him to move freely. Had it not been for this one man sitting outside as a homeless person, paying attention. Had it not been for that man, there would have been 2 coaches of children dead and parents dead. And then they say, but women should have the right to wear what they want. Not when it comes to national security in this country. They bloody well do not. Now, I spoke to my friend who is a Muslim woman who also wants the burqa banned. And what I find more astonishing, please hit the share button on this. Please hit that share button. People need to know that we are not talking about banning the burqa because we don't like Muslims. It's got nothing to do with not liking Muslims. It has everything to do with the fact that had it not been for just a glimpse I might add, of his trainers, that man would have blown up 2 coachloads of children. Had it not been for a mere glimpse of his trainers, and he recognised his trainers. Then you see a woman, I say a woman, could have been a man, had a knife and a screwdriver and has stunned an 18-year-old child to death. This is happening in the UK. Ban that piece of fucking rag. Get it gone. France banned it, backed by the European Court of Human Rights. They banned it. But our country is full of lily-livered, weak-willed leftist apologists, and they are the ones going, that woman can wear whatever she wants. You don't know if it's a woman wearing it. What's also interesting, so this guy goes into a mosque. Now the women and the men pray separately, and feel free to bang as many thumbs, faces, shares, I don't care. Go for broke, put as many thumbs and likes up on this video as you like. In fact, the more you put up, the more people will realise it's a popular subject. They'll click on it and they'll watch it. So actually knock yourself out with as many thumbs and angry faces as you can possibly put up there. Fill the screen up, I don't care. But the fact of the matter is, he went into a mosque. Now think about this logically, okay? He went into a mosque. Women and men pray separately. Somebody gave him that burqa. Somebody helped him put on a burqa and escape. And had it not been for the foresight of that guy from MI5, he would have blown up 2 coachloads of children in this country. This was on October the 3rd. This is not months. Now, why wasn't the BBC all over this for 10 days? Now, somebody brought something to my attention, and he's absolutely right. Absolutely 100% right. I wrote a couple of notes of things that people have said to me and told me about, and this is my point. Right, a 15-year-old girl was killed in Scotland, okay? The BBC aired it for about 5 minutes. A Muslim shopkeeper, it covered it for 10 days. Stop paying your TV licence to the BBC. I do not watch live TV. Full stop. I don't watch it. Stop paying your licence. It's supposed to be unbiased broadcasting. But it covered the death of a Muslim for 10 days and it ignored the death of a 15-year-old child and gave it a mere 5 minutes. A man who went in, he fully intended to kill and open fire on innocent children, 2 coachloads. Think of the size of a coach. How many children on a coach and parents? And yet, have you seen it all over the BBC? I do not remember seeing any of this all over the news. I share articles every day. I go and I seek out information and I get information every single fucking day. And I saw nothing of this until today, until somebody sent me this thing. And they want to turn around and say, ban the bugle, because I said I would ban the burqa. Let me make this very clear. It takes 4 years before I can stand for election again as Police and Crime Commissioner in Bedfordshire. If Catherine Holloway has not pulled her finger out of her backside, I guarantee you I will raise the £5 grand. I guarantee you I will stand again. And if they ask me will I ban the burqa, I will say again, yes, I would ban the burqa. I would enforce that law. Yes, I would. When you've got people stabbing innocent 18-year-old kids wearing a burqa. What did she look like, officer? Well, she looked like a bin bag. That's what she looked like. What colour were her eyes? Well, I didn't really see them. Did she have any jewellery? Well, I couldn't see her hands. What shoes was she wearing? Well, they actually went down so far I didn't actually see her shoes at all. So there's nothing to distinguish these people then. Nothing to distinguish these people. Are they man? Don't know. Was it a woman? Well, it might have been. Might have been a woman. Was she large in frame? Well, she could have been just a fat woman, couldn't she? What colour was her hair? Well, I don't no. Here's a lineup. You might as well get a shed load of black sacks, fill it with crap, stand it in a lineup, and you still will not pull out who it was. The burqa is a national security risk in this country. He wanted to kill 2 coachloads of children. Children! 2 coachloads of children. He wanted them dead. Had it not been for the foresight of one man sitting outside a mosque looking like a homeless person, he would have been able to open fire and put explosives and kill innocent children. This is not acceptable. That piece of shit garment needs to be banned. It needs to be banned now. Theresa May, you pathetic, weak, spineless woman. Moral cowardice amongst our political elite is disgraceful. What would have happened if he'd have succeeded? What then? What were they going to come out and say? Well, you know, it's got nothing to do with Islam. That's what we would have been told. It would have had everything to do with Islam. Because the bastard would have done it in the name of Allah. But what would he have got? What do you reckon? Year? 2 years? Maybe 10? Would he have got life imprisonment, hard labour? No. No, he wouldn't. He would have walked free after X amount of years. And the fact that these children on this... I mean, 2 coachloads of children. What age were these children? Were these primary school children? I mean, a child is a child, even if it doesn't matter how old they are. Your children will always be your children. But would that have been a coachload of infants? Would it have been a load of little babies' bodies blown to bits and splattered for everyone to see? And still our courts would not have given him life and hard labour. Because our judges are corrupt. The BBC is corrupt. And the political elite are the most corrupt of all. They are disgrace to everything that this democratic country holds dear. And that's why people need to understand that there has to be... Aaron Banks is planning on starting... don't let something silly like the law coke before Islam. I have no idea what law coke means. I am sick to death. Again, the guy told me there were 3 rapes in Scotland by Eastern Europeans. That's how they were described, as Eastern Europeans. Middle Eastern Europeans is what they probably meant. A 15-year-old girl was killed. The BBC gave it 5 minutes airtime. But when a Muslim shopkeeper was killed, it was running for 10 days. The sooner that we can actually, as a country, pull together and we actually start saying, do you know what? That person would make a damn fine politician. Well, they haven't got a pot to piss in. Let's help them get the finances. Let's stand them in every by-election. That was why I liked John Rhys Evans. He liked direct democracy. I like that idea. I think it's a very good idea. Aaron Banks, the man who was the multimillionaire that funded UKIP, is planning on starting a new movement. But for how long? And what would have happened if he'd have blown up these 2 coaches? Here's another little twist to this. What would they have said? What would they have said? Do you think the police officer would have come out and said, this terrorist was part of Islamic State, had mental health issues? You can see it now, can't you? You can see it, the BBC. Yes, he opened fire, was known to be a known drug user, alcoholic with mental health issues. Bullshit! He's a terrorist, and he did it in the name of Islam. If he'd have succeeded, that's exactly what he would have done. It would have been in the name of Islam, and it matters not. I do not think that all Muslims are terrorists. I do not think that all Muslims are rapists and paedophiles, but there is a problem. There's an elephant in the room, and the BBC do not have the balls to address it. Well, you wouldn't do, BBC, would you? You're too busy hiding the paedophiles you've got in your own house. You hid paedophiles like Jimmy Savile and Stuart Hall for years. You were complicit in what they did. You were complicit in it. And now you hide like cowards behind your large money that you get for doing a shit job. You all walk around, Lily Allen, oh, the refugees are welcome, and we're sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, Lily. And you soon backtracked, didn't you? You wanted background checks for anybody you might take into your house. Well, you know, England is my house. I want background checks before your ass comes into my house. And to tell me that I'm a racist, xenophobe, bigot, fascist, Nazi, I don't give a toss what you think I am. The Muslim women that I give support to, they don't want the burqa either. They will sit there and say, yes, these people are doing what they are doing in the name of Islam. BBC, you are cowards. You are morally corrupt. In every conceivable way, you are morally corrupt. We've had this before. We get the politicians. We've now got another by-election, and it's a Lib Democrat. And everybody's going, oh, yeah, the Lib Democrats are back on the rise. No, they're not. No, they're not. They just didn't want Labour or Conservative, and you were the only other option. There was no UKIP or English Democrats standing there. And they'd rather vote for you than Conservative or Labour. So you're talking balls. It's bollocks. Mental health issues. Drug abuse. I watched a video yesterday. Now, look, I make no bones about it. I don't always agree with the way people go around things. But I watched Tommy Robinson. And a young white convert. As soon as he was challenged with reasonable questions and rational questions, he couldn't answer them. But yeah, it's walking around, because he's really the piece, isn't it, bruv? You get me, bruv? You know what I mean, bruv? Yeah, because they're my brothers, isn't it? Because they're my brothers, isn't it? It's because they're my brothers, you get me, bruv? You're just a hater, innit, bruv? You're a hater, bruv. You're a bigot, bruv. You don't even know what the word bigot means, you pillock. And I've had this with converts all over my timeline for about 3 days, about a fortnight ago. And I had it all over my page, right? And they were going on about it's a religion of peace, innit, bruv? You get me, bruv? Boyaka. Shut up, you idiot! You have not read the bloody thing. You've gone by what you've been told. You know jack shit. You know nothing about Islam. When he pointed out very calmly, Muhammad married Aisha at the age of 6, consummated it at the age of 9, that is paedophilia, that was rape. He turned around and said, no, it didn't happen, bruv. Didn't happen, bruv. Where'd you get that from, bruv? He went, Bukhari, Surah Bukhari. I said hadith there is, but you are a convert and you know Islam. You're a dumb shit, right, who went to prison, who got welcomed into the fold. And you had your little bodyguards protecting you. But you knew nothing, boy. And then he said, so do you really think that Muhammad split the moon? He went, yeah, bruv, it happened, bruv. Yeah, you get me? Yeah, it happened, bruv. You're just a hater, innit, bruv? You're just a hater, bruv. I would say that the man who intended to kill 2 coach loads of children, he was the hater, bruv. You get me, bruv? Because you's ghetto, innit, bruv? And by the looks of it, you were a bit of a stoner, bruv. Maybe they supply you with it, bruv. You struggle with concise English, and yet you believe you understand Islam. It is converts like that that are dangerous. They are cannon fodder. Most of the extreme Muslims will not ever see you as a Muslim. You are merely a tool, you tool. I am so sick of converts telling me it is a religion of peace. And if you said to him, I had it with one, and I said to him, what about abrogation? And he went, what? I said, you don't even know what the word abrogation means. You utter fucking doormat. You have no idea what it is you are talking about. You're bigging it up like you know this, you know nothing. You are a pawn in a game. And then you scream racist, fascist, Nazi, xenophobe, bigot. You name it, you scream it. Words you have no idea what the hell they mean. Please hit the share button. Hit the share button. We've got people afraid to go out. And now, the piece de la resistance. And as you can see, I really am not happy Bonnie. I'm not happy Bonnie today, and I was in such a good mood yesterday. So bear with me while I open up this link. Because there is a certain person that is to blame for all of this, and shame on her for doing this to her country. Okay, daughter of top EU official raped and murdered in Germany. Afghan migrant admits killing. So it's happened now to the daughter of a top EU official. Do you think that'll be enough? Do you think that'll be enough? I don't think it will be. I don't think it'll be enough. When will enough be enough? If ever. It should be enough. It should be enough for them to realise they are letting in a rape culture, a killing culture into the countries like Germany. And Germany, I'm sorry, but I think Germany has fallen. I'm sorry, but I do. I did a voiceover of a 16-year-old girl pleading to be protected and feel safe. I believe that Germany has fallen, and it breaks my heart that that's the case. Hang on, bear with me. I just want to see that comment there. Adam Page, and at her funeral, her family collected money for refugees. What of the EU official daughter? Are you kidding me? See what I mean? This is when people... Seriously, Adam, probably telling me that was not the smartest thing to do, because now I'm even more fucking angry. Now I'm more angry. So not only now we got the fact that so you targeted an EU official's daughter was raped and murdered, and he held her face under the water until she was dead. After he battered her, raped her, he drowned her. Pretty much what happened to Laura Wright. Laura Wright, he stabbed her multiple times, and then he pushed his foot on her face and held her face under her water until she was dead. But after that, the family held a collection for refugees. Really? Are people that stupid? On the left, that dumb? Sorry, I'll rephrase that. The left are that dumb. Well, do you know what? You lefty, liberal, pathetic, weak, morally corrupt, sanctimonious, self-serving sons of bitches, you do not represent me. You say nothing on Sharia law, bastardizing and abusing Muslim women. You ignore it. help Muslim women, but I'm not afraid to tell the truth that Islam, I know what would have happened if this man had been successful and he'd blown up or shot, open fired and shot and killed and maimed innocent children on 2 coaches. Our Prime Minister would have come out and said, Islam is a religion of peace. She should add on to that, Islam is a religion of pieces of violence and aggressive, violent rape cultures. I will never say, and it doesn't matter how many Muslim women I help, I will never hide the fact I do not think that Islam is a religion of peace. It is not, it cannot be until it behaves in a peaceful manner. And right now, you have got abrogation. Therefore, any peaceful verses within that book are replaced by verses of violence. The verses of the sword. But in order for humanity to survive, as Raj Raina, humanity must survive. Yes, humanity will not survive while we got people who behave in an inhumane way. I am sick of my country. Look, I can't care about the entire earth, Raj. Sorry, I can't. I'm one woman. I do care about my country. Just as I'm sure that those who live in Germany and those who live in Sweden and the Netherlands and those who live in America care about their country. I do what I can to help girls who have been groomed and raped. I've said this before. The minute I say Stephen Lawrence, everyone will know who you mean. They'll know that name. It's imprinted on the back of their eyeballs. Why? Because the BBC made damn well sure that we had it imprinted on us. As did our politicians and our government. But a friend of mine who's on here, whose cousin was groomed, raped and murdered and branded property of. Anybody know her name? No. Nobody knows her name. If you happen to look like me, and by that I mean your skin colour's this colour, well, you don't matter as much. I watched the whole Black Lives Matter. See, I don't think that it's black and white. If somebody's laying in the street and dying, or they've been beaten or attacked, or they're homeless, I'll help them regardless of what colour they are. Can the same be said if it's me? No. No, it can't. The BBC, you're complicit. You're complicit. Why was this not all over the news? And I will reiterate for those who have only just come on. This interview was carried out on October the 3rd. That's only a matter of weeks ago. October the 3rd, this interview was carried out. This should have been run every day for 6 months. Should never be ignored. Ever. But it is. It is ignored. And I want to know who provided him with the burqa when he went into the mosque. Who gave him that burqa? Was there a little collection of burqas in there for this specific purpose? You know, well, look, we might have a couple of terrorists pop in. And we need to make sure we can cover their identities and whip them out quick before anybody notices. He even went to the lengths of shaving his beard to hide his identity. But who gave him that burqa? It's a woman's garment. So who gave it to? He went into that mosque and somebody inside that mosque helped. Now, I don't know where this took place, but I tell you what I do know. Our government should have gone in and shut that mosque down without question, without warning. without any, can we have your permission, please? No, you shove permission up your arse. You're not asking permission. You're going to go in, you're going to shut it down. Open it up as a new church. Open it up as a halfway house for children that are homeless. Open it up as a place for our ex-serving soldiers suffering on the streets with PTSD, as a shelter for them to live in. But shut it down. And every time a mosque is involved in extremism, shut it down. And open it up with something that will benefit all people. Turn it into a place where girls who have been groomed and raped can get proper therapy at no cost. And then charge the bastards who were in that mosque extra tax to pay for it. It's like any spoilt child, mate. You start imposing things on spoilt children and they will soon start towing the line. But while we act weak and our government act weak, we allow this to happen. I can't believe that the BBC totally ignored the fact that a man wanted to kill 2 coachloads of children. 2 coachloads of children. What if it was their children? What if it was a tour and one of the children on there was the member of the BBC? What then? Or is it all right when it's our children? Because, of course, when you work in the BBC, you've got a nice big fat wage check, haven't you? Your kid gets chauffeur driven to school by mummy in a big 4x4. Our kids get on buses and coaches. Sorry, bear with me a minute. Christian Wise, 250, is that 250,000? I haven't got the glasses on, so I can't see the number. Citizens were homeless. Let the first half of the year, 650,000 EU immigrants we know about in the UK. Yeah, listen, I've been highlighting this for a very long time now. Very, very long time. And Raj, I agree, zero tolerance for radical Islam. Again, I can't deny that. October the 3rd, Rosie Sugar. October the 3rd, he was foiled by one MI5 agent that sat outside with urine, his own urine all over himself. But this was the other thing that infuriated me, not because he didn't do the right thing, he did the right thing. But it's the words that he uses. He knew that if he dressed as a homeless person, soaked in his own urine, he would be ignored. Then nobody would take any notice of him. And he's right. He's right. Yes, Alice Hunter, we can. But we can't do it while we've got people who want to go out in a vigilante mentality. I personally would take Maria's as a street movement of people in its millions if I knew that I could rely on the people turning up to not turn up representing their own organisations and to turn up as independent individual people. I wouldn't keep asking for permission either. What are they going to do? 17 million people voted to leave the EU. Imagine 17 million people walking down the street directly towards Westminster. What are they going to do? If all the farmers turn up in their tractors, or the taxis turn up in their black cabs, or the lorry drivers, imagine then that they can ignore that. They couldn't. They couldn't. It can be stopped. Do I think that we're heading towards... Do I think we're heading towards civil war? Yes. Yes, I do. I do think we're heading towards a civil war. Wendy, but sometimes vigilante is the only way to get justice. Actually, Wendy, I disagree. There are many people who struggle to tell the difference between a Sikh, a Hindu, and a Muslim. Okay? You send out vigilantes and they target somebody who's an innocent Hindu or a Sikh or an innocent Muslim woman. Only recently, there was a woman who works at my local shop. She doesn't have any of these extreme views. She keeps her faith very personal. She only wears the hijab. She had her hijab ripped off her and she was spat at. That is not acceptable. I think you've got to find stealth jihad with stealth counter jihad after all the government and police turn a blind eye to the jihadis. I agree, they do. They do. And when the next conference and then the next Marius event, as soon as I've had this meeting with the guy, the next guy that's going to be there, hopefully, will be an ex-jihadist from the 80s. It's not a rapist, not a paedophile. During the 80s, when Tony Blair took us into an illegal war. But for no longer can these extreme Muslims keep blaming foreign policies. Bullshit. It's bullshit. It's not our foreign policy. It's your faith. It's you following your political ideology and justifying your actions via the verses of the sword. It's you living your life exactly as Muhammad lived his. It is not foreign policy. It is not me. It is not me. And it is not the people on this thread. It's you being at war with the West. And you use any means necessary to achieve your goal, and that means including using converts like that dumb son of a bitch you get with bruv. In it, bruv. It's your religion of peace, in it, bruv. Oh, he split the moon in half. No, he didn't. Don't talk utter pish. Do you believe he flew to heaven on the winged horse? Yeah, bruv, he did, bruv. Yeah, I believe that, bruv. You believe that? You believe that? You believe that happened? Yeah, bruv, you get me, bruv, because it's peace, in it, bruv. You can barely string a sentence together. You can barely walk in a straight line because you're such a pillock. You sort of momming around sticks, you know what I mean? So throwing stones back because you're a dick. You're a dick. And you're cannon fodder. You're cannon fodder. We've had people walk past Westminster and Buckingham Palace carrying an ISIS flag. I've equally seen a woman arrested who was pregnant purely because she had a Union Jack flag. No other reason. No other reason. I say enough is enough. Enough is enough now. And like I said, when I stood for Police and Crime Commissioner elections, I took 7,000 votes as an unknown. That is done well good. I retained the 5,000 deposit. And I took enough votes away from Ollie Martin to displace him. Completely. Now, if Catherine Holloway doesn't pull her finger out, in 4 years' time, I will stand for election again. And if they ask me, will I ban the burqa? The answer will be yes. I would ban the burqa. Absolutely, Raj. You are 100% right. It is the duty of every non-violent Muslim to rise up and clean their house. Yes, it is. It's time they clean their own backyards. Because I'm sick of cleaning up their mess for them. I'm sick of seeing Muslim women bastardized by Sharia law. Forced to marry their rapist. I'm sick of seeing Muslim women that are victims of marriage fraud just to get a visa to get into this country. I watched another video, Muslim woman, talking about the man having a right to beat his wife, and one of those reasons is she can't refuse sex. Now, Muslims will say, no, that's not true, that's not true. Let me tell you now, there's a book called The Reliance of the Traveller. The Reliance of the Traveller is actually their law book, okay? It's their law book. Not every Muslim knows it's their law book, but it is their law book. And in there it says, all right, it says that a woman can refuse sex with her husband if she's having a period. But not if he thinks she's a liar. If he doesn't believe her, she still can't refuse him sex. So can you imagine it? I want you to put yourself, because there's lots of men on here now, so I want you to all of you guys that are on here right now, okay? I want you to imagine you and I, you know what I mean? All of you and I, we're getting it on, right? We're getting married, we're in a relationship, we're getting a little bit down to nitty-gritties, and I go, I'm sorry, love, time of the month. Now, all of you men on here will go, well, okay, that's a good enough reason for me. If I say no, because it's any reason, but especially at that time of the month, you're in a relationship, you and I, we're all loved up. And I go, darling, time of the month. And you'll all go, all right, love, end of. Now, I want all you men on there to imagine you've just become Muslim. And I'm a Muslim woman. And I'll say to you, I can't please you, because let's get that straight as well. It's not about a woman being pleased if you're Muslim. So as a Muslim woman, I'm really sorry. I can't please you tonight. I can't pleasure you tonight because it's that time of the month. And you look at me and you go, nah, I don't believe you. Well, no, it is that. It is. No, you're not convincing me. Well, look, it was 28 days since my last period. No, I don't remember. So I didn't know about the last one. So how do I know you're lying to me? So come on, let's get down to the nitty. Oh, bugger me. What a bleeder. Literally, you weren't lying. Well, a bit late now when it's sunshine. So she can't refuse him sex. She has no right to refuse him sex. I would suggest that Muslims pick up their own books. Read your own damn books. Because it's there. It's there. And I can just see now, I'm getting followed now by Muslims. I'm sure I will now get a tirade of hateful messages. Feel free. I've already had one on there tonight. He sent me a message. Hi. I'm always very polite. I went, hi. Thank you, Kevin Saunders. And I said hello back, politely, nothing else. Within seconds, Tony, I look at all your pictures, you're very beautiful, I love you. You do not love me, you don't even bloody well know me. You know a picture. No, I know a picture paints 1,000 words. But it doesn't paint I love you. You don't love me. You don't know me. But you see blonde hair, blue eyes and think, oh, visa. Guess what, sunshine? Not a chance in hell will I do anything that will aid and abet you getting into my country. Any of you. Now, that doesn't mean I think all Muslims are bad, because I don't. Far from it. I wouldn't help Muslim women if I did. I also believe that empowering Muslim women is the way you overthrow this bullshit, this misogynistic, backward thinking bullshit. I am sick of it now. Women can't say no to sex. Women, you have the right to beat a woman if she displeases you. And now tell me that I don't know this, right? So I'm going to clear this up as well. I went out to Egypt a lot. I have a friend who lives in Egypt called Ahmed. Ahmed is still my friend to this day. In fact, he'll tell people I'm his best friend. And I asked him about the right to beat your wife. Now, he's never hit his wife. I said, do you have the right to beat your wife? He went, yes. Then how about he lives in Egypt, doesn't want to live in England. That's fine by me. I said, how can you justify hitting your wife? Well, he said, first you warn her. If she displeases you. I said, well, what would she have to do to displease you? Well, it could be anything. Maybe she didn't wash the dishes the way I wanted them washed. Maybe she didn't massage my back for the amount of time I wanted her to massage me. Maybe she didn't want to give me sex, and I wanted sex. Whatever. First time I warn her. Second time, I banish her from the bed. Whoa, oh, hold on a minute. What do you mean you banish her from the bed? Well, I banish her from my bed. I went, Ahmed, in my country, but it pisses me off. I kick him out of my bed and he sleeps on the sofa. And none of this kicking me out of my bed, not a chance in hell. He said, thirdly, if she still displeases you, beat her. It says it in the Quran. If you fear high-handedness from your wives, beat her. Thank you, Ellen Levine Schofield, Surah 434. Exactly, which is what I've just quoted, which means that you can see. So a lot of people come on here and they'll say, yeah, but Tony, you need to know this. I know more than most people think I know. You won't have to visit one the way our politicians are going. Well, if I had my way, maybe it's time I became a politician, and an independent politician, and maybe it's time I challenged the establishment itself. I don't know. Maybe I could do that. It's worth a shot. Anything's worth a shot, isn't it? So I know they have the right to beat their wives. Now, that's fine. You want to live in Saudi Arabia? I can't change that. I can't change what happens in Saudi Arabia. But I sure as hell can change what happens in my country. And that's why people like Manwar Ali, who doesn't want Sharia in this country, Taj Hagi doesn't want Sharia in this country, they're the people that I'll work with, because they'll back Caroline, and that will push that parliamentary bill. But who have they asked for these independent, this is the other thing that makes me laugh, independent inquiry into Sharia law. Independent inquiry. Now, I don't know about you, okay? Well, here's another little scenario for you. Okay, I'm running a house. Just saying, I don't, but for the purpose of this. I'm running a house of ill repute, okay? A brothel, a knocking shop, call it whatever you like. And in order to make sure that I'm doing it all correctly and above board, and that the girls are being well looked after, they're going to have an independent review into my house. Brilliant. What you don't do is send another brass. By brass, I mean a madam who runs a brothel. You wouldn't send another load of madams in to investigate a brothel. You wouldn't do it. But who is going to be carrying out these independent investigations into Sharia councils in this country? Islamic scholars and imams. How the fuck is that unbiased? How is that an independent, unbiased? This has got to be challenged. And that's another reason I will work with many Muslim women that will challenge this bullshit. Because that's where they lay victims. You see, within Sharia councils is where Muslim women are laid victims. Only today, as I said, my friend Roma, who's taken part on my conferences, she is my friend. She's a very good woman. She's a kind woman. And she doesn't give a touch. She'll ring me and wish me Merry Christmas and think nothing of it. She'd also think nothing of buying me a Christmas present and a Christmas card. She's a good person. But out of her own mouth. The problem with, in her experience, she's Pakistani origin. Although she'll never let me call her Pakistani. She calls herself English. So that's another reason I admire her. But as a Pakistani origin, she said the biggest problem within the Pakistani community is they are corrupt. Out of her mouth, they are corrupt. Well, we've only got to take a little look at Tell Mama. Corrupt. Care. Corrupt. Luther Rahman. Corrupt. Keith Vance. Corrupt. Anybody see a pattern here? I'm seeing a pattern here. Sorry, bear with me. There's a couple of people who put questions on here. It's worse than paying off the mafia. The mafia, really, that's Saudi Arabia. And the BBC, I agree with you. At least they leave you alone. But the mafia, Saudi Arabia is the mafia as far as I'm concerned. Charlie Adams, okay, I have a question about your British or UK system. This is just a question because I do not know your system. Okay, in the US, the only vote that really matters is the vote you cast when you're on a jury. That vote can eventually overturn bad laws. For example, in the UK, if your women started to arm and defend yourselves, then educated jurors could set them free, not matter what the law does. Since your police will not defend you factually, actually that is not really their job. They just show up after a crime. Then shouldn't you have the right to defend yourself? You should have the right to defend yourself. No, you can't have the right to defend yourself because it's actually illegal to carry any kind of weapons. And as I said, women have been arrested before for carrying pepper spray, taken to court, and have been found guilty of a crime. So it's not as simple as that in our UK law. They advertise Dubai like it's paradise. Yeah, just that unfortunately, if a woman is raped and they try to go to police, equals problems. Listen, in places like United Arab Emirates, I would not be permitted at certain times of the year during the holy month of Ramadan, which we all like to lovingly call Bombathon month, because that's when they like to blow things shit up. I mean, if you're going to starve yourself to death, and you're not going to eat, and you're not until late at night, and you're not going to have water, well, I'm sorry. Hello? You know, you're going to go a little stir crazy. Now, what was that? United Arab Emirates, during the holy month of Ramadan, I would not be permitted to even hold a partner's hand, because that would be a criminal offence. And if there was a woman who got raped in, where was she? And somebody can remind me, maybe. But there was a woman raped, and she now is imprisoned in that country for being raped. Sex outside of marriage. And when we say to people, in Islam, you must produce 4 male witnesses to testify to rape, we're called liars, fascists, bigots, Nazis. Well, let me make this very clear. For every troll, for every lefty apologist, BBC, I don't care who it is, I couldn't give a toss who it is. I will make this very clear. If me standing up against rapists, if me standing against Sharia law, if me helping Muslim women, if me supporting and helping people who have been made homeless, or helping get a girl out of a house where she was being trafficked and very covertly removing her from that property at the risk of my own life, makes me a racist, fascist, Nazi, bigot, xenophobe, I will wear every single one of those badges with goddamn pride. Because I would rather be all of those things and more than a pathetic, weak, liberal left apologist, appeaser, panderer and enabler. Wear your badge, you sons of bitches, wear your badges. But you wear yours with shame, I will wear mine with pride. I think I've bored you enough for one night. I'm sorry for the rant, but it needed to be done. And I needed to get it off my chest. The link is in this thread for that guy. And I will applaud that man for doing what he did in stopping 2 coachloads of children from being killed. I will sit there and say that I thank him for that. Also, everybody, please go on to the Maria's website and subscribe to it. Also, on top of that, please go on to the Our Eye on Islam website, where you can purchase the Maria's t-shirt. I would love nothing more than to see every single one of your profile pictures lit up with a Maria's t-shirt. I really would love to see that. Surely all we have to do is get back to purely English laws and nothing else. Yes, but this is the other thing, another thing you all need to look at. Go and look at how Nicola Sturgeon and David Cameron sold as a dummy. The English don't even get to speak for themselves. We have no parliament. We have no voice. We don't have it. You need to check that out. Helen Marinette, the site for the t-shirts, it's called www.oureyeonislam, which is, it's actually capital letters, first letter of each word. I will put it up on my, I'll share it out on my page in about 5 minutes so that people can find it. You'll find it on the Maria's page as well. So anybody who wants to purchase a t-shirt, like I said, it will be great to see people's profile pictures change worldwide, globally. The website for Maria's is marias.org. You will find on there, you will find blogs written by girls who have been groomed and raped, and also a blog by a young girl who left Islam and took off the full abaya, which is with the bits on, because I'm in touch with a lot of them as well. For now, everybody, really sorry I ranted, but it needed to be done. Share the shit out of this video, okay? When I got banned for 30 days, it reached 28,000 views. Let's multiply that if we can. For now, I wish you all a fantastic evening. Sorry for ranting. Check out the links I've told you about. All of them are worth checking out. You have a great evening. Relax. Chill out. And in the words of the ignorant convert, you get me, bruv. In it.